Welcome to the main event. This is True Ring News Network, your ringside access to WWE news and drama. Subscribe and let's rumble. All right, WWE Universe. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most emotional segments Seth freakin' Rollins has ever delivered. The walls are closing in around him as the prime suspect in a string of brutal attacks, and he just stepped into the spotlight to declare his total innocence. This wasn't a typical flashy promo. It felt more like a man standing in court, fighting for his name, his legacy, and his future. Whether you believe him or not, what he said changes everything about this ongoing mystery. The accusations closing in on Seth Rollins. For weeks, the atmosphere on Raw has been thick with suspicion. Every time the mysterious masked attacker has struck Rey Mysterio, LA Knight, or others, one detail kept returning like an echo. The stomp. Seth Rollins' unmistakable finishing move has been the signature of every single attack. As a result, fans, commentators, and even people backstage have begun to circle around one conclusion. Seth Rollins must be behind it all. With each new assault, the accusations have grown louder, and the once playful speculation has turned into serious doubt about his integrity. The visionary will speak. A promise. On the screen. On this particular episode of Raw, the tension hit a boiling point. After another disturbing attack by the masked figure, the show cut to commercial. Just before the fade-out, the screen flashed a stark message. The visionary will speak. No music, no highlight reel, just that phrase. It felt less like a hype graphic and more like a summons. When Raw returned, the ring stood empty. The entire arena seemed to be holding its breath, waiting for the man at the center of this storm to either confess or defend himself. A very different Seth Rollins walks to the ring. When Seth Rollins' music finally hit, the crowd expected the usual theatrics, the big grin, the exaggerated swagger. Instead, they got something entirely different. Rollins walked slowly down the ramp, shoulders heavier than usual, face lined with frustration and exhaustion. There was no dancing, no playing to the crowd, no wild laughter. He stepped through the ropes, took the microphone, and just stood there for a moment, breathing, staring out at thousands of faces that clearly didn't know whether to cheer or boo. It felt less like an entrance and more like a man walking into a courtroom. Rollins strips away the gimmick and speaks from the heart. When Rollins finally began to speak, his usual bravado was gone. The smug tone, the playful arrogance, none of it was there. Instead, his voice sounded raw, almost unguarded. He told the audience he knew exactly what they were thinking. They saw the stomp, they saw the pattern, and they connected it directly to him. He admitted that for a while he let the rumors grow, almost flattered that the attacks were being compared to his precision and timing. But as the weeks went on and the damage piled up, that twisted sort of flattery turned into something else entirely. Disgust. From flattered to furious. The frame job line Rollins explained that seeing Rey Mysterio carried out of the arena and LA Knight left, barely moving among shattered debris, snapped something inside him. This stopped being some artful imitation or hidden tribute to his influence. In his eyes, it became a calculated attempt to frame him. He made it clear, whoever is behind these attacks isn't just targeting other superstars. They're targeting his name and everything he's built. Rollins said he refused to let his legacy become the canvas for someone else's storyline, someone hiding behind a mask and using his move to shift all the blame onto him. It was not me. The core of his defense. At one point, the emotion boiled over. Rollins gripped the ropes, leaned toward the crowd, and shouted, "It was not me!" The arena fell almost silent as he laid it out, one incident at a time. He insisted he did not attack Rey Mysterio in the parking area. He swore he did not put LA Knight through a table backstage. And he adamantly denied being the masked figure inside the cage at Survivor Series. He didn't try to be clever or coy. He spoke with the intensity of a man who felt cornered, but determined to stand his ground. Someone is stealing his legacy. What seemed to hurt Rollins the most wasn't just that someone was using the stomp, it was what that meant to his reputation. He said there is someone out there stealing his legacy, using his most famous weapon as a tool in these ambushes, and then sitting back while the world points the finger straight at him. In his mind, this isn't just physical damage being done to Rey Mysterio, LA Knight, and anyone else who might be next. It's also reputational damage being aimed directly at Seth Rollins. Every stomp leaves another crack in the way fans see him, and he knows it. Rollins points toward Austin Theory. Then came the twist that changed the tone of the entire segment. Rollins said he believes Austin Theory is the one carrying out these attacks, hired by someone with power, influence, and a plan. He didn't present it as a wild guess. He spoke like a man who had put the pieces together and was finally ready to say it out loud. According to Rollins, Theory is not acting alone, and whoever is behind him chose the stomp on purpose, knowing it would drag Seth directly into the spotlight and turn him into the perfect scapegoat. Is Seth Rollins telling the truth? That's the question hanging over everything now. Is this a genuine plea from a man who has been unfairly blamed? Or is this another layer of psychological strategy from one of WWE's most complex characters? On one hand, Rollins' body language, tone, and vulnerability all felt real. He didn't seem to relish the moment. He seemed worn down by it. On the other hand, this is Seth Rollins, the same man who has built a career on manipulating expectations, twisting narratives, and staying 3 steps ahead of everyone in the room. That uncertainty is what makes this so compelling. The mystery grows deeper behind the mask. If Rollins is innocent, the mystery becomes even more intense. Who is capable of mimicking his style so perfectly? Is it truly Austin Theory acting under orders? Is there someone else in the shadows orchestrating this entire situation to damage both the victims and Rollins at the same time? The masked attacker is no longer just a threat to the roster. They're now part of a larger story about legacy, trust, and identity. Every appearance of that mask from this point forward will carry an extra layer of drama, because it's not just about who gets attacked, it's about who gets blamed. The road ahead for the visionary. By the end of the segment, one thing was crystal clear. Seth Rollins is preparing for a fight that goes beyond the ring. He's fighting a battle for his name. Whether he's telling the complete truth or cleverly bending it, he has drawn a line in the sand. He will not quietly accept being labeled the mastermind behind these ambushes. An all-out war feels inevitable. Between Rollins and whoever is behind the mask, between the truth and perception, between the Seth Rollins the fans think they know, and the man who poured his heart out in that ring. However this ends, it's going to reshape the landscape of WWE in a major way.